Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's happening here in the greater Concord area. It's now the month of June, and graduations, high school-wise, are on the horizon, and summer is coming up, Father's Day, motorcycle weekend, and of course, in town, Main Street, with their bargain days, you know, which used to be in July, now they're in June, but anyway, and it doesn't seem possible. I mean, I kind of miss in a way seeing the old motorcycle days when they used to have the Hells Angels and the Devil's Disciples. Remember all those gang people would sit out here in Loudon Road and watch them go home or whatever. It was like, oh, brother. Or they'd be camped out along 106.
Yep.
And,
It's come a long ways from then.
Yeah, no.
All the fun is gone.
Yeah,
I mean, you never felt threatened or intimidated by them.
No.
They, were just there to have a good time, and
They never,
Yeah.
I mean, they never bothered anybody.
No.
Per se.
But all of that is
Now it's
changed.
gone. Now it's gone, and it just, you know. And I guess they don't even have the. I guess it's not the Grand Nationals in there either. It's a combination Canadian American or something. I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know.
I haven't read very much about it.
No, it's kind of like. Shoved to the side because the the big car race coming here, and of course they're still chewing over having that country
Concert.
music something. Yeah, so they thought that was all set, but now they're still chewing about. You know, I guess it's none of my business. I don't live in Loudon. But for an entity like the racetrack,
Yes.
who has really been generous with them over there,
Right.
I wouldn't say too much
No.
because I'd want to say, hey, you have a lot of things you have now you didn't have before.
Oh, exactly. I mean, in the last 25 years or so, that's brought.
I don't know. So, but what's going on with you these days down on Main Street? I mean, I see you've got some posters in the windows at the Concord Theater.
Well, that's the Capitol Center puts those up because that's where the main box office is going to be for the Capitol Center. Will be there.
The Capitol Center too.
Yeah, the Capitol, because the Capitol Center is going to run the Concord Theater.
Yeah, I know, but
And so their box office for the Capitol Center will be at the Concord Theater. It's closer to downtown. You don't have to go all the way down, and there's that long walk to the box office, and this way...
And who created that long walk to the box office?
Not
Really?
me.
I know, really, you know?
But, so that way there'll be a presence there 5 days a week, and it'll be, construction starts next month, I guess.
Well, that's good.
$5 million.
We got our membership in the mail the other day for renewal, and I sent an email and I said, I'd like to. It's too bad that we don't have some shows like the Palace has, because I mean, they have a lot of shows, but I don't see anything that really makes me want to run out and buy tickets right now. And I was very careful what I said, and she wrote back and she said that they're always looking to book new acts and things. I said, well, here's some suggestions. If you look at, for some people, but like in the country music scene, Scotty McCreery, this Caleb Hutchinson, he was the runner-up on the American Idol this time, and it was good. And then of course you've got the old-time country music artists like Steve Warner or Bill Anderson, somebody like that. But
well, a lot of these people don't want to play a 1,300 seat theater. They want to play 3,000-4,000 seat venue because there's a lot more money in it. I mean, years ago, 50 years ago, I remember going to see Dolly Parton at the City Auditorium.
Yes, I was there that night.
And but now Dolly Parton will only perform in an arena of at least 8,000 seats.
Well, you figured.
I think she was still with Porter Wagner.
She was with Porter Wagner.
And and at that time, country. I mean, Brenda Lee came to Concord, and a lot of those people came to Concord because back then you could book them for $5,000, the act, and so in a 1,000-seat place you could get your money back. But now Dolly Parton is $50,000 a performance. So $50,000 at the Capitol Center would mean you'd have to charge $150 or something a ticket.
Yeah.
And so that would turn people off. So I think it's the economics, unfortunately. I mean, we had, as part of the Guile concerts years ago, we had the Boston Symphony Orchestra come, and we had all of these world-class artists come that would never come near Concord now. The Boston Symphony Orchestra, it would cost you $100,000 to have one performance by then, but the Guile had the money for, at the time, it was $7,000 for them to come to Concord.
What does the Guile do now? They still have money?
It's in the Capitol Center, the brochure for the season. There's 2 pages near the back. The Guile concerts, they're all free, of course, still. And the money that was left with the stipulation that only the interest could be used. You couldn't touch the principal. And so the interest, which was $25,000, used to be able to bring 4 or 5 name personalities to the area. But now you can't even get one person for 25, so you have to get others. But they still do 5 concerts for free a year. It's like with the Walker Lectures at the City Auditorium, and that was Abigail Walker left a certain amount of money to be used. But you can't touch the principal, unfortunately. And I don't think you can take the money and invest it trying to make it, grow into more. So it limits it. But sometimes they have something that's really good, and since it's free, it's a real deal. But I know that some of the other things are terribly expensive. Well, I know when I brought Patty Page here for a benefit for Merrimack Valley AIDS Project, she gave me a break on the price. Normally she got $42,000. And she agreed to do it for $13,000 because of the cause. But it's
wasn't she living up in Bath at that time?
They had a farm up there. Yes, a maple syrup farm.
Yeah,
and they brought the syrup down and sold it at intermission. It was a singing syrup. You took the lid off, and there was a microchip in it, and it was Patty Page singing about syrup from New Hampshire. And my mother still has her...
I never knew that.
And my mother still has her can. 15 years later, it still sings when you open it.
Oh,
the syrup's gone, but she saved the can.
Oh, my God.
And so at intermission, we sold out. Jean Shaheen came and gave Patty a proclamation because she had made her home here. And then at intermission, she and her husband, Jerry... Patty's husband, Jerry, sold the syrup in the lobby, and they sold over $20,000 worth of syrup.
Wow.
And they gave a third of it to the organization. But it was a situation you had to agree that they could do that as part of the contract for cutting the fee, and you had to also pay for musicians and a conductor and all of those things. So we charged $50 a seat, and we had a certain number of seats that were a little bit more, but you got to go back and talk to her after the show. But it did sell out, and you had somebody who had 29 gold records, and Tennessee Waltz and all of the other songs she sang, Old Cape Cod, and but she was more affordable, but she wouldn't have been affordable if it hadn't been for a nonprofit, because nobody, $40,000 is a lot of money to, and that doesn't include the rental of the Capitol Center. and you have to have union people on, union on the lights, electricity. You have to pay for the ushers. All of these to have them there to do their thing. You have to pay a certain amount. So it comes expensive. But then the positive things are they do all the ticket selling through their box office. People can go online and get their tickets or call up the box office or stop in. So it's not like an organization then has to, we have 1,400 tickets, now we've got to go sell them. So you end up in their brochure, and there were all the plus things about it. So same when we brought Guy and Ralna 4 years ago. The Capitol Center took care of all.
I thought they never showed up, though.
No, they were here. I invited you. It was on Mother's Day.
But I thought... I didn't think they ended up coming. Oh,
they came. They did a great show, amazing show. Somebody said to me afterwards it was better than shows they'd seen in Vegas. They did 2.5 hour show, and people really were thrilled because you got your money's worth. And musicians from the Granite State Symphony played for them.
Oh, really?
But again, the Capitol Center took care of the tickets and a lot of the promotion through their website and everything, and email blasts they did. So those are the positive things that you don't necessarily get at other venues. But I think they're limited because of the number of seats on what they can bring as far as a certain, equity show, professional shows that are coming through, because you've got to put up the cast at hotels. You've got to, pay all of the union musicians, and those don't come cheap.
No.
Just for Guy and Ralna, the 6 or 7 musicians, it was almost $10,000 for rehearsal and performance. So and so I think they look at the City Auditorium as being the place that does more of the type of thing that the Palace Theater does, because most of the Palace productions are Manchester-based or New Hampshire-based productions, whereas what the Capitol Center brings are professional touring companies that are going all over the country. And but that comes with a price tag, because you're getting, as far as costumes and scenery and all of the things. And the Capitol Center has all of that space above the stage to raise up sets and bring things down, which enables them to do a lot of those. But the Concord Theater will be at the most about 300 seats, and so smaller things like what we had talked about, the Anacarico type things, can be done there, and you're not having to heat or cool this enormous theater like you would with the Capitol Center.
I know.
So it increases their ability to bring smaller acts, to town. But,
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see how they proceed on the Concord Theater, bringing it back to life. And it's just sat there for so long, and I just wonder whether the City Auditorium, the Concord Theater, and the Capitol Center, can all three of them survive?
Well, I think you're not going to have the Walker Lectures or the community concerts leave the City Auditorium, or the community players, or a lot of the dance schools like Cindy Flanagan that has, they can fill, the City Auditorium for their shows.
Well, she was down at the Capitol Center this last week. Thing I saw.
So, so she's growing and growing. So it's not going to be a threat to that. And they're going to have all of the film broadcasts that they now have at the Capitol Theater, at the Capitol Center, will be able to be at the Concord, because none of them attract hundreds and hundreds of people. They have a very specialized audience. So this way they have that there. And I think it's going to be a lot of the musicians that they had in their Spotlight Cafe in the Governor's Hall at the Capitol Center, where they'll have 200 people come to hear somebody, and they do it in a smaller place. But now they'll have a real stage to put it on, and there'll be a bar, and they're upstairs, and so it's. I think it's going to be something. Everything will exist well without really taking away from one another. Even Red River, doesn't feel threatened by it because they're not really going to be doing movies except broadcasts.
Yeah, I know it.
So
I still haven't been there yet.
You have never been there?
Because I never really, what they offer doesn't really...
Oh, you've got to go just to... The stadium seating is great.
Is it good?
It really is. And they've had some really good things that I didn't know at first whether I'd like it or not, but then I went and it turned out to be really enjoyable. The popcorn is good, and it's less expensive than Regal.
I don't really. If I go somewhere, it's Cinemagic. Works it. I enjoy those down there,
but these seats there, I mean, they're as comfortable as that, and it's just I think they've done a very nice job, and I think they continue to do well. I mean, my mother went twice last week, and she never. She went to see the Pope Francis movie, loved it, and then she went to see a movie about Ruth Bader Ginsburg that probably wouldn't be high on my list, but the way she talked about the Pope Francis one was St. Peter's closed last week, and the last Mass.
That's sad.
Yes.
But it's been empty for so long.
Yes. Yeah.
I just can't believe they're going to tear it down. I can't believe it.
Well, sitting in it last Sunday, I was looking around, and the interior is as lovely as it was 50 years ago. It's been maintained, the statues, all of that, and just gone. I mean, at least Sacred Heart, you can still go by, you can appreciate the architecture.
Yeah, I know it.
But I'm just so surprised the drop in Catholicism in Concord, whereupon once upon a time you had up here, and then you had the three down there, and you had Immaculate Conception in Pentecost, and St. Jean the Baptist in Suncook, and every church was filled, and it's...
I don't know. I mean, another subject, I don't want to get off it, but I want to get it before you have to leave today, but found out that up at the mall, now you're going to go up there and climb the rock. Well,
I think I'll pass on that. Thank you. And the trampolines too. I think I'll skip that.
Oh, you're going to jump on it? Well, I found out too, there's a conversation piece that there's maybe a charter school going to go in up there.
Yeah.
Why the mall? I don't get it.
They want to go into one of the Bon-Ton stores. I think the one where the men's store was.
Was when the school?
The school in there, and then.
So you heard more about it then?
There was a tiny little piece in the Monitor last week about it that referenced that the trampoline place will probably go into Circuit City,
yes,
or whatever.
Going.
Yeah. So there won't be any Halloween store, I guess, there.
Well, according to what I've heard today, I talked to the office, they said that they're trying to, they've shown them 4 different areas in the mall that they could easily fit into. So I'm figuring that the 2 Bon-Tons, one of those 2, and whatever else they've got inside there. But, they like being with that big poster outdoors so people can see them.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to want to be inside there where the people can't see it.
No.
So I don't know whether they're going to try to grab Toys R Us or what they'll do or something. I mean,
well, that's right. That's just about gone, too.
Yeah, that's going to be empty.
And I think in the next wave, not the wave they just announced of Sears, I don't think our Sears is good. I mean, you drive by there, there's never any cars.
I know.
Never any cars at Penny's.
No. Sad.
And I don't see, if those 2 were to go in the next year or so, there would be no point. Even if you have trampolines and a charter school, there's not going to be any reason to keep that.
How in the world would a charter school, where are the kids going to have recess?
Yeah.
With the trampoline place? I mean, really? I mean, I'd be careful of the traffic up there.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Stuff, you know. But something.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just.
That would be the last place I would put a school. And just that road going to the 99 and Target and all the cars race along there.
Oh, they do?
And, you know, kids wander sometimes or, you know, and that would seem to me not to be the best place for a school. But
Steeplegate High School. I mean, really, I just wonder what the thinking is there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just amazed that the mall didn't even really last 30 years. It would be 30 years in 2 years since it was built in 1990 that it opened. But for the last 10, it's been sliding downward. I mean, it had a very short life compared, you know, I mean, the mall in Manchester is what, 40 years now or more?
Yeah. But they always said the rent was killing them. That was one of the big reasons why these tourists couldn't afford the rent. Because I said, what about I said today, what about bringing in a nice restaurant like Cheesecake Factory? Nope.
Well, Cheesecake would not want to be anywhere near something that has the, you know, death knell ringing on it.
Well, I know it.
And, you know, and I think they like to be near something. Well, like down in Burlington, where there's activity and something going on. I know at one point they looked at over in Newington at the Fox Run when that was still going strong, but even that has, you know, started to fall on. Apparently, Macy's is laying people off over there, and business is way off, and
because you still have the Newington Mall there too, right?
Yes,
mall,
where the cinemas are. Yes, that
strip
one.
mall, but still, I don't know.
And that has the Barnes and Noble in it, that strip mall. And that does, I think, more business. I think that whole area there. But I don't know. I can't imagine ever doing all of my shopping online. I still like to go out and
I do too.
Be in a store and look at things. That's when you spot something you weren't even thinking of getting, and this is a good.
I really, and then of course downtown still hasn't really. I was driving down the other day, and all I could see is one side of Main Street is all restaurants, basically.
Yes.
Except for New England College has a couple of
and CVS and things are cooking.
Couple of consignment shops, but it's all mostly eateries. And the other side is not a lot over there either.
No, well, banks and some investment places and things like that. But no, I mean, I miss going down and actually going shopping and making a day of it. You know, and they're very nice restaurants. I mean, you know, we have, but if somebody is looking to shop, I don't think that's the first thing that comes to their mind, like it used to.
No.
And that's, you know, they'll go down to Burlington and Marshall's before they'll, you know, come up on Main Street. I mean, certain League of Arts and Crafts, you draw a particular crowd to there, and. But, you know, some of the, and of course Gibson's does a great business. That part of, you know, he has a beautiful location and he has a beautiful store. And you do see it's always busy in there, which I'm glad. I'm glad for him because he's...
Yeah, the parking's not the greatest, but
No. If you want to park down in the shopping center and walk up the hill or something like that. So.
Or the garage.
Yes.
Still, I guess, is empty, a lot of it. Well, I know we're coming to a close. I can see it ticking down to 6-7 seconds.
God, that was fast.
Because you got time today, but there you go. There's your ding ding. But it's always a pleasure having you on.
It's a pleasure to be on, Dick. I love being on your show.
I will be having surgery next Monday.
Oh.
So I came to the doctor's today. So
okay.
it's faster than I hoped for. But anyway, But with that in mind, we'll come to a close. And
here's hoping everything goes well for your surgery, and you'll be back in your seat in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully, I'll be filing at the polls at the things tomorrow for re-election. But and we'll talk about it. Yeah, I hope so. So with that in mind, we've been talking to Paul Brogan about our Concord now and then, here or there, or whatever, and it's always fun to exchange ideas. But thanks to Ian Marx over there, and you have a great day, and we'll talk with you soon. I'm your host, Dick Patten, for Around Town.